Every day, America Online is making it easy for people to live, work, and play.
When we installed internet access on our computer, I got the whole family involved.
Just what is this main artery of the information superhighway?
You beautiful bastards!
No matter how large, no matter how small, we'll be on the internet in the year 2000. It's the primary way that people will look at information.
Shut up!
When we were there.
Hello and welcome to When We Were There, Biased Internet History. I'm Thomas.
And I'm Josh, and this is a podcast all about the history of internet content, the who's, the what's, the where's Waldo's. We get into it all.
Whether you like it or not, okay? You can't stop us.
No, you can't stop us because we're going to be here doing what we do no matter what you do.
Exactly.
Thomas, how are you today?
I'm in a bathrobe.
I'm in a onesie, so I feel like we're kind of on the same page here. We're recording later than usual. That's a little behind the scenes tidbit.
Yeah. Later in the day, so we got undressed.
Yeah.
Is sort of the vibe. Usually I wake up, I get 3-piece tucks, and then as the day goes on, I work my way.
Just slowly work down to like a robe.
Yeah, or even sometimes I just wear a shawl. And nothing else.
Nice, dude, yeah.
Completely nude in a shawl.
I like to get into like a tucked-in express button-up, and I'll wake up like that, and then I'll go to the laundromat, just look into the tens, and then by the end of the day, my dick is in a goddamn sock.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm usually at Thomas's house by the time my dick is in a sock.
Like 2 days ago, that was happening, I think.
Yeah, with my butt plastered right on your dining room table while you ate cereal off of me. Because that's how we roll.
Yeah, because we're goddamn indie moguls.
We're freaking indie moguls. And that's how rich Thomas is. He can wear a fucking tux and eat cereal off my naked ass.
Yeah, and I bet you feel silly now for assuming otherwise.
Yeah, to think that we're not making bank off this podcast. We make like at least a good 3 cents a year.
Yeah, at least. Maybe. Or wait, did you say at least or at most?
At most.
Yeah, at most.
And
I would be stoked if we made that much.
3 cents, dude? That's revenue.
Yeah, that's cash flow, dude.
Oh, God. We can only dream, right?
Yeah. Well, speaking of dreaming, let's get into sort of the vibe of this episode, right?
I guess you could say this episode is kind of the crux of the entire internet in a sense.
You could say that. And if you were to say that, you might be you or I, because I don't know if I've heard anyone else say this yet. Again, we're the first on the scene.
Absolutely.
No, today we're going to be talking about social media, everyone's favorite aspect of the internet. But as Josh said, in a larger way, perhaps the biggest and only aspect of the internet, dare I say it?
I mean, what was the World Wide Web invented for, if not to link people together?
Porn.
Yes, but I mean,
which is the most purest way of linking together.
Oh, absolutely. But as I said in the Aaron Yonda podcast, everything comes from porn or war.
True. And actually, was it DARPANET? The internet actually was started, or not necessarily started, but really pushed by the U.S. Department of Defense, which is war. So there you go.
And the first instance of paying for something via credit card over the internet was pornography.
I thought it was a pizza. That was Bitcoin. The first thing a guy bought with Bitcoin was a pizza, I think.
Yeah, but the first thing someone bought with real tangible cash was a goddamn video of Asa Akira getting blasted in the face.
Wow. That's coveted, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And Asa, if you'd love to, we'd love to have you on the podcast.
Yeah. No,
I know you're listening to this.
I know she's listening. She's a big fan. She's just too shy to come on.
She's on the Patreon. She's gotten the tea.
Yeah. It's okay. We won't blast you in the face.
That's not our style, Asa. We're going to ask you history questions. It's going to be the least sexual podcast you've done, to a point where you're bored.
Yeah. We won't even make jokes with her because we're so intimidated.
Ms. Akira, what do you know of internet history is what I'll be muttering the whole time.
Just over and over again. As secretly I'm playing a soundboard because I didn't have the balls to tell you we didn't get her.
Oh, jeez. I thought you were going to be saying you could only speak to her via, like, a soundboard because you're too nervous to yoke up some words.
Yeah. See, I'm like a soundboard guy, so
Yeah.
like if we did get her, that's the route I would take. But I don't think we didn't even get her. So
Oh,
yeah.
I really thought we did. If you're listening to this, you don't have to be nervous, okay? We'll be gentlemen.
But yeah. So I mean, social media. What a freaking beast of a concept that one is. Hey.
Absolutely. I think, as we've sort of goofed about but alluded to is, I think one of the big things aside from porn and war that was really pushing the internet was people communicating with each other. But the internet wasn't always the same internet to any kids out there. Even before like the days of just dial up, like if you would really have to create a server that, people would have to find to be able to link together computer to computer to communicate.
Yeah. Well, that's like what fucking Usenet was like, right? Or something.
Yeah.
It was something like that.
One of the things of Usenet was really just like you create a server and then you could do person-to-person communication. And this was even before like the other softwares that came after it allowed you to actually like create like an email list or a chain list to communicate with multiple people.
I thought Usenet was like a big like chat room almost.
Yeah, it was a big chat room, but it was a precursor to being able to kind of have email chains.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it was more like when we talk about the Wild West, I think that was like the wildest West.
That's about the wildest of the West it was. And it was something you had to like find and actually make an effort to get onto Usenet because, back in the day, you would actually have to pay for internet access separate from just like,
I think
your goddamn router.
Yeah. And
you have to pay for minutes.
There is a phenomenon or an event that in regards to Usenet called Eternal September.
Oh, that sounds fancy.
So, because I believe with Usenet, I think a lot of people were given access to it when they would go to college. I'm not quite sure how because it's frickin' prehistoric times, obviously.
Yeah, imagine having to download a browser before there was an internet browser to download a browser. You would have to get that third party on a goddamn floppy disk.
Yeah.
And then a separate floppy disk for the actual internet you're using. And then a hard link. This is pre-Wi-Fi Zoomers.
So yeah, that right there, getting the floppy disk for, you're talking about AOL. And
yeah.
that's what Eternal September is the like crazy marketing campaign of AOL that like, because they used to be at every September when there's a new like batch of freshmen coming on to Usenet, everyone would get pissed because they didn't know how to follow the rules. So they call it September because it's like you're like a September guy because you're a noob and a baby. And then I think it was like, I don't know, sometime in 1993, I don't know if it was actually September, but they call it either Eternal September or the September that never ended because there was such
it's like the layman coming. It's the dawning of the layman coming onto the internet instead of actual hobbyists or tech people.
Yeah, exactly. It was like the mass influx of just the regular dude. But and even then, so that's like, I guess, the first September. And I don't know why would I just, do you remember?
Oh, see, I was thinking "Wake Me Up When September Ends."
There's a lot of stuff regarding
There's
September.
a lot of September songs, and
yeah. And they're all about this event.
They really are.
Wake me up when September ends. You're never getting up, buddy.
It's not going to happen. The layman has come to the internet. The moms who kind of know how to use Google, but not really. Who just post racist shit on Facebook. That's all there is now.
And see, that's what I was going to say is like, I think almost every platform has its own September. And like when I was talking in the last solo one about Coney, I kind of was talking about Facebook's, what I see as Facebook's September that never ended was Coney 2012.
You got a lot of, if you listen to the Coney 2012, there's a lot of theories. I think mine the most accurate.
Yours isn't a theory though. That's the thing. You just
is
started
just so.
stating. You started reading from the newspaper.
I was spitting facts.
Yeah.
But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Thomas.
No problem.
That was so rude. I was just gonna briefly, not to go on a tangent, but I think with sort of technology like this, even if we're kind of looking at the personal computer in general, you know, much like the internet was before the Eternal September, I think computers were something that were used primarily by like hobbyists and like developers, you know, people that actually put in time to like learn basic and, you know, learn coding.
Yeah, that's right, kids. Basic isn't just something your mom is now.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
It's not just what your bro is. Basic was a language, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was essentially, if I can break this down to fucking idiot kids, it was essentially like, imagine just a black TV screen with white text on it, and that's how you communicated and spoke to the computer. You know, you were literally having to tell your computer what to do via text.
Well, I mean, surely this
No,
must be
it's like command prompt. It's like,
well,
you
yeah,
know,
I was gonna say, surely this is ingrained enough to in the zeitgeist that people know the like 20 go to 10 sort of thing, like, because so basically each line would be, and I think this is still in most code, each sort of line is numbered, and they're numbered in the tens, so it'd be like 10, and then you'd give it a command. So let's say this is the one most people know. You'd say print, which is basically telling it to write something on the screen. Print, in quotes, hello world. Classic one. And then this is the kind of cool prank that the kids would play. They go into like the Best Buy and run up to that Apple II that's on display, and they would
way
type
before
in
Best Buy. The Apple II that was on display at Best Buy?
yeah, and they would run up to the freaking computer, and they type in, maybe they wouldn't say hello world though, they go print big chungle.
Nice.
And then they'd say 20 go to 10. So that's the command you're telling the computer, hey, print this. And then the next thing you tell it is, hey, go back to this command. And it's a loop. And it just
says
and it, big
chundle.
chungle.
Yeah.
And it covers the screen forever.
But there was a visionary. A man who said, I don't want a computer to be this gargantuan, scary, a thing that only smarts know how to use. I want everyone to use. I want it to be like a goddamn toaster oven. Your grandma can turn it on and do the crossword puzzle.
Yeah.
And
that
that's
was Tom Fulp.
No, what?
Okay,
Thomas.
Shit.
It was Mr. Stephen Jobs. And Steve Jobs definitely really wanted to push for the democratization of the computer. And with the Apple Lisa, he actually had a graphical interface, which is, you know, what we still use today. It's more advanced. But I think in a way that shift was kind of like the computer's September. As all of a sudden, instead of having to learn basic, you would just, it's intuitive. You click on something. You can use Apple Paint. You know, kids can play around with it for fun. And I think much like the actual Eternal September of the interwebs, when, you know, AOL came online and all of a sudden any Joe Schmo down the road could go on and goddamn sexed with their neighbor.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right. It kind of became something where it was like, okay, this belongs to the world now.
Mm-hmm. So, and I guess to sort of tighten the scope of this, because as I mentioned, so like social media, what is social media?
It's pretty broad now. Like, is
it's a
YouTube
very
social
vague
media? You know?
phrase to begin with. It could really be anything, any sort of media that's social. Yeah, I read the dictionary.
Nice, dude.
But the thing is, for me, is I feel like, especially as time has gone on and the internet has gotten more, I guess, what's the word? Like, user-friendly.
Yeah.
I feel like now a lot of people have their computers, and they're used for, like, at least like the personal computer is generally just like a a Facebook machine, but like a social media machine. Because
Well, I think a perfect example is something like the Google Chrome. You can't really download any proper software on there. You can't.
You mean the Chromebooks? You mean?
Jesus, I'm an idiot. Yeah, Chromebooks. Let's cut that out and make me not sound like a dumbass.
Okay.
But you probably won't.
I never do.
Of course not. But yeah, like a Google Chrome.
Yeah.
Fuck Chromebook. Damn it.
Christ.
Yeah, a Chromebook. Yeah, you can't really do. Essentially, it is like just having a computer that just has Google Chrome.
Yeah.
But
and for most people, that's all they need because, like, honestly, right now, name a site that. Tell me a site you regularly visit that isn't social media.
I can't.
Yeah, because we like to include YouTube into that. I guess Netflix, like streaming services like Netflix, Crave, or whatever.
But that's at this point, it's just so intuitive. It's essentially like just like a very user friendly television channel where you can select what you watch. I wouldn't.
Yeah, but
but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but and then like that's why I brought them on. It's like I guess at this point YouTube is so removed from its like more. Even in the name of itself, YouTube, it's not really about putting yourself up and like.
No,
I don't think people are generally connecting on the site anymore. It's
there was a time where like it had I remember when there was like mailboxes, and you could really like we've talked about in earlier episodes. Customize your landing page, and I remember chatting to people that I would like maybe meet in the comments section, or people I'd want to like who I like their stuff.
We did a couple like collabs because we'd had people liked our videos, we watched theirs, we liked theirs, sort of vibe.
I once emailed this kid whose YouTube name was Mr. Marshy, and I don't think that's really doxing him because it didn't have his first name in the title, so he could be anyone Marshy.
Any Marshy.
Any Marshy, yeah. But we wanted to do a collab. So, he said, "Hey, dude, call me and we'll, maybe do a Skype interview or some shit." He did BB gun reviews, and I had just watched A Christmas Story where the kid almost shoots his eye out with a Red Ryder BB gun. So he was in that video. I'm like, okay, so this kid's pretty cool. And he even looks like the kid from A Christmas Story.
Nice.
And I called him, and his dad picked up. He said, "What are you doing calling my boy? What are you, a pedophile?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I'm a boy too." And
he thought you were interested in his son.
He thought I was a 50-year-old man with the voice of a 11-year-old boy.
With the voice of an angel.
With the voice of an angel, calling his boy, and he chewed me out.
Trying to slurp that kid up like some soup.
Jesus. and I was like, "Oh no, this is for my YouTube internet show." It's like, "Yeah, met on the internet," and he's freaking
Christ.
And he took the belt to him, and then he's like, "Why do you call my dad?" And I was like, "What? You said to call." And he's like, "No, I didn't say to call it this time."
No, he sounds just like his dad.
Yeah, and him and his dad sound the same. Because of that, he never spoke to me again.
Because his dad is a 50-year-old man with the voice of an angel.
Yeah, exactly. and do you know who that kid turned out to be?
Well, you said he was Mr. Marshy.
Yeah, but I'll tell you who he really was. It was all
Okay.
ruse.
So you are gonna dox him?
Yeah, I am. Cruella Deville.
Oh shit.
Yeah. By the way, Cruel Devil. Yeah, we know you're a dick, Cruella.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, it's not a subtle name.
She also like smokes cigarettes in kind of like a douchey way.
Yeah, it's the long thing, and they're just like,
The stick.
Oh,
like she's too good to have. Like she's still gonna smoke cigarettes, but she's too good to have them near her mouth.
Yeah, she doesn't want it near her mouth. She just wants a weird plastic stick.
Yeah,
and she's always talking about skinning dogs to make a jacket. It's like Cruella, pleather or fake fur. It's the same shit.
It's the future, baby.
It's the future. Just don't be an ass. But
also like, those are someone's friends.
Yeah, you don't do that.
Friends.
You don't do that. You skin a fish because fish aren't people. And then you have a real smelly, scaly jacket.
No, but fish are friends, not food.
I don't agree with that at all. They are food because they don't have emotions. But I'll move past the fish thing. The point
I just lost our fish audience.
Yeah. I think the point I was getting at is this communique of the internet. We've always wanted to do it, and I think one of the bigger things that kind of came out after the Eternal September was message boards were a really big thing.
Yeah, so like that's what I was trying to think about is my like foray into social media. And I guess Facebook probably would have been the first like thing I got because I wanted to play games because my cousin came over for Christmas one year and he was playing this cool driving taxi game or something. And I was like, what's that? I want to play. And he's like, you got to get Facebook. It's Facebook exclusive.
Oh, shit.
Probably wasn't, but he told me it was. So I asked my mom, I went, Mom, can I get a Facebook account? And she said, huh? What?
A what account?
Leave me alone. It's Christmas. Don't talk to me.
Yeah, no, she won't talk to you on the high holidays.
Anytime, but especially a high holiday.
Absolutely.
You know she's
stoned, dude.
Yeah. Stoned off that frickin' turkey. Bird.
Jesus.
Sorry, I would have stuck with the goose thing, but Josh loves geese.
I love geese and ducks. I don't want to hear about eating them.
Yeah, so I had to quickly backtrack.
But we're babies. We kind of missed Friendster and MySpace. You know, like we know of them. We're aware of them, and I think they are precursors to Facebook.
Totally. We had a MySpace account for one of my YouTube channels with some friends because I don't know why, we were like, we gotta upload to MySpace.
It was kind of on the tail end of MySpace still being a thing. You know, I think when Facebook came, that style of website, I think it had gone from like Friendster to MySpace, all the way back to like certain profiles you could have had on message boards. And it kind of, that type of social media stopped at Facebook. Like Facebook was the last of its kind that is still here today.
Because it eats anything that tries to compete with it.
Exactly. It's like that big goddamn fish.
Yeah.
Like in that movie, Big Fish, which has nothing to do with any of this. It's about a boy and his dad.
Isn't it about a tree?
No, that's Tree of Life.
Oh, shit.
But
you can see how I got confused.
I can see how you got confused. They're very similar.
Yeah, one is about a tree and one is about a fish.
I think I had a slight precursor to Facebook, which was this wasn't the most popular one in America. AOL had something called AOL Instant Messenger, or AIM, which was essentially just, you know, to people that don't know, is the equivalency of just like a kind of, I guess, to modern people, like a text app, or just having the Facebook Messenger app, you know? You could,
yeah, it's like an app on your computer, though.
Yeah, it was an app on your computer, and we used MSN here in Canada. I think MSN was a little bit more popular in Canada, at least at the time when I was using it. And you could show if you were online, offline, or incognito. You're online, but you're pretending that you're offline.
You're appearing to be offline.
Appearing to be offline. And,
yeah.
And usually what it was is like you'd get everyone's email from school, and you'd chat with them late night, you know? You'd be like, oh, who do you have a crush on?
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. I was on MSN as well before Facebook. And you'd be sending cool smileys.
Yeah,
that's what we used to call emojis, kids.
Yeah, we used to call them smile, and then emoticons. And then
I think emoticon was the same. But emoticon, to me, and it still is to this day, is like if you're using like text, like the ASCII or whatever, to make the smile, that's an emoticon. But a smiley was like a graphic. And it was before, I guess it was before they weren't keyboard things. Like it wasn't actual, like it wasn't like a text thing, you know? It was like a photo that you were sending, just a very small one.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes they could be animated. And then it kind of got to a point where you could put in the keyboard shortcut, like colon, bracket, and a smiley face would pop up. And I just, you know, like same as I don't believe this is as big now, but back in the day you'd be like, use a lot of internet shorthand like LOL, NVM for like never mind, BRB, be right back.
BRB, this is a funny, interesting thing to me, is you used to always say BRB. Remember that? Like there was G2G and BRB.
Oh my god, I forgot G2G or GTG. That was before BRB for me.
Yeah.
Gotta go. Well, no, one's gotta go and the other's be right back. So never mind.
Yeah, they're together. But that's the thing, that you'll never say those probably ever again, because there is no going. You can't be back if you've never left.
Well, you'd sign off. You'd physically sign off and close the application, where it's like, on your phone, Messenger is just always on. You can always get the notification. And it's kind of almost like what happened with, well, I mean, it is because of the cell phone as well. But like, back before cell phones were big, if I wanted to call up a friend to hang out, I'd have to call their home phone and then ask their mommy to.
Remembering landline numbers?
Oh, yeah, you'd have to like remember. I remember my mom had like a little book, and we'd have all of people's numbers, so I'd have to like scroll through, and I'd have to find like Danny Fartnose, and then call the number and say, "Hey, Miss Fartnose, can I talk to Danny?" And the same is with like MSN or AIM. Like you got home, you were on the computer. That's when you could chat with people. If you signed off, you don't know what notifications you're getting. You just have to wait until you go back on again.
Did you? I don't even think you realized what you said there. Also, did you realize you said, what in regards to the book? You said scroll. I would scroll through the book.
What's wrong with me?
It's so ingrained. The internet is a part of us.
I was flipping through it. I wasn't scrolling. I was goddamn flipping through it.
Yeah. No, but I just think it's really crazy that it's like those. I mean, I'm sure they'll get like maybe every so often I'll say BRB. But if it's like, hey, can you check something for me? And I'll be like, okay, one sec, BRB. Maybe, probably not even.
I just write it because this is before like, smart text where you'd literally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, and then with that you'd have to like click 1 3 times to get a C, or like and then click or sorry, it was 2 for a C. Click 3 2 times, get an E, and then eventually like it kind of was like, oh, if you're typing these numbers in a row, are you saying like banana? And it's like, no, I was trying to say cock, and it was like it would just guess for you. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. Yeah. And it's kind of just one of those things where like, because you had that, and especially when texting started, that's how you had to do it. There'd just be that shorthand. Fun fact, a lot of shorthand, actually, like OMG, dates back to the early 1900s during World War I, because they would have to telegraph, and both sending more letters would be expensive and more time consuming.
And they'd say
OMG for oh my god, or SOMF for like sit on my face, whatever it was that soldiers were talking to each other about. Like they needed to make it more efficient. And I think that was the same because of text apps. But even when we were on our computers, we were doing OMG. I think it was just what was cool and quick.
Yeah. I remember there were like, going back to the smileys, there were like cool special like BRB and like GTG, and like sometimes you like either you would find one or a friend would find like a cool one, and they'd like send it to you and you'd be like, what? That one's so dope. And you'd have to like steal it, like you'd copy it from them or something. I remember that being a big thing of like getting the coolest smiley.
Yeah, I remember there was a time where you could get special emojis. Like you'd have to download.
Yeah, you'd have to download like packs.
So here's something crazy that I remember doing that kids will not remember today. But I remember when I had my little Motorola Razr, and I had to, same thing. I just had to use the keypad. I remember there would be ads online in between like TV shows, and it was like, text funny to this number and we'll send you a custom ringtone, or text like fart to this number and we'll send you these custom emojis.
Yeah, I remember
that you can use. So I'd be like, okay, hey, I'd say yes, and then it would bill your cell phone provider, and then you would like get sent these little emojis on your little phone.
You racked up hundreds of thousands of dollars.
My parents were livid.
They were super wealthy before you were born.
Yeah, and then they became working poor because of me.
Yeah, because of you and your hunger for emoticons.
Yeah, I remember that also brings me back to just like when you and your friends would get together. Like again, before like the internet was big and there was a lot to do.
I thought you were gonna say before the plague.
before COVID.
When you and your friends could hang out.
I just remember being like 13 and we'd go on a phone and type in 1-800-REDHEAD, and it would just be like this pre-recording for a phone sex line of like a girl like kind of talking dirty. Be like, click 1 and we'll set you up with one of our fiery redheads. And I swear to God, none of these girls had red hair. It was all a ruse. But at the time, I believed it. And you'd like listen to it with your friends. You'd be like, oh, and then like they'd leave, and you'd listen to it again and jack it to like a cutout picture of Pamela Anderson.
Nice.
Who was, for kids who don't know, that was like the 90s Kim Kardashian.
I thought you were going to say, for kids that don't know, that's Canada's centennial baby.
So is my dad.
No.
He was born in 1967, my friend.
Okay, but he's not the centennial baby.
I guess not.
That's Pamela Anderson.
Oh,
She was
so you're
the
shitting
first-
on my dad?
I'm shitting on you for saying that he's something he's not, and I think he would agree.
Okay, we're going to move past this.
Your dad is an honest man. He wouldn't want to be misrepresented. Not by you. Not like this.
Jesus. He was born on June 23rd, 1967. Close enough. He's like, what? In fact, he's before Anderson, which makes him better.
Yeah.
So
also,
don't fucking speak shit
so
about
he
my
was
old man.
Too early to be the centennial baby.
I'm a knock you right in your beautiful face if you keep talking shit about my old man.
Christ.
The point being was, you know, there were so many things that, like, when the internet was in its, like, Wild West infancy, like, whether it be message boards or MySpace, you know, everything was kind of spread out, and not all the time do you know how to find the stuff that you wanted to find. This is something that's such a big theme of our show. And I think one of the things that happened, and I feel like Facebook and YouTube are kind of the spark that made this happen, is everything got a lot more centralized.
Yeah. I think another thing, message boards like Reddit, I think is another one. I don't know if Reddit isn't as mainstream, so I don't think it's like as powerful as Facebook or YouTube. Like if I had to rate them, I'd say it'd be like a Facebook, YouTube, and then maybe Reddit in terms of like what contributed to this consolidation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Reddit is kind of like the biggest forum right now. You know, not as many people, at least the layman or the average person, is like going to like 4chan or 5chan or anything like that. You know,
Good old 8chan.
Oh, don't even get me started. But because I think, you know, all of a sudden, you know, you can even look at this like that meme, like, why go to 6 stores when you can go to 1? Like, you know, if you're looking at someone in the beginning of kind of Americana in the 50s, oh, well, I go to my butcher, and then I go to my shoe shop, and then, you know, I get some clothes for my kids, and then I got to get some fish, and then I go to the local store to go get all my produce. Why do all that when you can fucking go to Walmart, you know? And it's one of those things that kind of killed the mom and pop business. And symbol of the internet, you know, like Facebook has all the social networking that would be needed on something like a MySpace, and they also have games that you could have gotten on free online games.
They're stealing Craigslist now too.
Yeah, Marketplace.
I don't go to Craigslist anymore. I go to Marketplace.
Oh no, I never go to Craigslist anymore. Marketplace is just so more user intuitive, and it has it there. And then similar to, like, I think what killed stuff like AIM and MSN Messenger was Facebook Messenger, because now all of a sudden pretty much the exact same layout that's in something like MSN is on Facebook, and you're already there sharing photos and writing on people's walls. Why would I go to a third-party app? And then when the cell phone came in, that's when it all kind of like came to one thing. You can be taking a shit and be on Facebook. You know, everything that you need to do.
Be taking a shit, watching a YouTube video about aerodynamics,
jerking off on YouPorn in the other screen,
and freaking selling your mom's jewelry box on Marketplace all at the same time.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, so pretty much I think the average person, if they just had Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Reddit, they pretty much can do anything you need to do on the internet for the average person.
That is the internet for the average person.
That is the internet for the average person. You know, maybe add TikTok to that now, but I remember there was a time where, like, if I wanted to watch a funny video, there were like maybe 20 websites I might go to. If I wanted to play a game, there'd be like 30 for fucking that. You know, if I wanted to, I'd used Vancouver. I'd use Craigslist if I wanted to buy something, or maybe I'd go on eBay, you know, like Kijiji. We used eBay recently to get a new camera, but that's the first time I've used fucking eBay since at least 2006.
Yeah, I mean, eBay I still use sometimes, but yeah, it's very different.
And even texting, you know, like we said about, I think we were talking about this the other day, but the birth of the smartphone is what made you be able to access this anywhere. So that whole concept of what we were talking about earlier, where, oh, I'd have to go on to my computer when I was home, sign in to chat with people. Like you said, you're never offline. Someone can get in contact with you whenever.
Yeah, which is kind of insane and probably unhealthy.
Oh,
to be honest.
Absolutely. I remember I one time just was like, oh, fuck, my phone has died. There's no charger. It was in the middle of moving a couple years ago. I panicked. I was like, what if someone needs to get a hold of me? And we've gone almost all of time of recorded history, if not definitely before that.
If not before,
No,
but
definitely.
perhaps not
Before recorded history, they had a goddamn androids, but
yeah, they had chips in their brain.
Yeah. But no, if all of history, recorded or not, when someone needs to get a hold of you, you'd have to be home. No one needs to get a hold of you, but I had this anxiety, oh, what if something,
Yeah, it's
I'm not
funny,
connected to the ether.
Yeah, I'm not hooked up right now. I don't got that juice flow into my brain. But the thing is, anytime I've accidentally left my phone somewhere, at a friend's house or something, or whatever, my charger died and it won't turn on, and I've had to go a couple days. How insane is that? A couple days without my phone. At first it sucks, but then a little bit you kind of stop missing it.
Well, even traveling, I think that's a big thing that you do with traveling. A lot of the time, when my last and one big trip to see you in Asia, a lot of the time my phone would just be off in a gosh darn fanny pack. But there was a freedom to that. But it's
yeah. I mean, I generally got SIM cards, so I would have a SIM card and
okay, Mr. Fancy.
Well, it's just
you were traveling for a long time. It wasn't just a vacation.
Yeah, and also my phone, that's the thing, is your phone becomes I mean, I eventually had my laptop. I had it brought to me, but if you don't have a laptop or a computer, whatever, if you're booking hostels or getting directions or doing it or booking a plane ticket or anything, bus tickets.
Oh, you have
maybe not bus tickets, but
use a GPS to find where you're going. Talk to other people that you're traveling with to meet up.
Google Translate as well. It's really useful. But I'm just saying, if and I had my phone stolen, and getting your phone stolen is pretty disastrous because you're fuck, I don't know. I need a phone to navigate.
Oh, absolutely. And it's something that you don't need, but you kind of do now. The world is set up for you to need a phone. Also, just because you don't really, but there are people that don't all the time. I think it's just more you were conditioned to think we need it at all times. And I think the funny thing is how connected we are, how much of our lives we are putting out there. It's more isolating. It's more lonely. We're not really putting a true picture. And I think something that's kind of interesting to me is I kind of have this theory. I call it the social media bell curve. And what it is I think at the beginning of the internet, or at least the early days post Eternal September, where the layman was using the internet, because I think most of us get into the internet nowadays, or anyone around our age, as a layman. And all of a sudden, here's this thing and all this information is out there, but a lot of people are told don't tell people what your name is. Don't put your real birthday. Don't put real information. The internet is a scary place. That's kind of the talk I got from my parents. Anyone can be on the internet. You could be kidnapped. You could get your information stolen. So you would, especially even on early message boards, you would have a screen name and you wouldn't have a photo of yourself and you wouldn't tell anyone about yourself, but you'd be divulging all this information because you're talking to strangers, and much like seeing a therapist, when you're talking to someone that isn't directly in your life, you can be more honest. You can share more about yourself without actually showing your name or your picture or necessarily where you're from. And I think that kind of kept going where with stuff like MySpace or Friendster or Facebook, all of a sudden you have this honesty, but okay, maybe you'll put a picture of yourself. So you can maybe that's when kind of online dating started. And I'm not saying that with apps. I'm talking literally oh, someone's cute on MySpace, I'll message them. And you're kind of going up and up. And okay, I might as well say where I'm from. Okay, maybe I'll use my real name instead of just a screen name. And all of a sudden, there's kind of just a couple years into Facebook where you're getting that like oversharing. Every photo that's taken, like you're tagged, if your friends are taking photos at an event, you're taking photos in that event, and then everyone's going to throw that on Facebook because they want to relive the night.
That's the other thing. As soon as you had a camera on your smartphone, it
changed.
The floodgates open.
And I think, weirdly enough, the timeline of like when I was in high school, 2007 to 2012 was, I think, the peak of that. Everything is documented and everything goes specifically on Facebook. You also have your likes, your dislikes, you're posting on your wall. Before it was just any status, it was Josh is, Josh is going to a party tonight. Josh is seeing his grandparents. Family events are this now it seems like the only thing people post on Facebook is family events. But that when moms or grandparents started to get Facebook, and then your whole life is kind of here. And I know me personally, after getting out of high school, maybe someone tags me in a picture here or there, or I'll post something for like, something like Passover or Christmas or whatever it is. But
being like, usually for me, it's like announcements that I feel, because now Facebook is just because of its, grasp on people. Has kind of a collection of almost everyone I know on there.
Yeah, so you can
for the majority
throw
of
stuff
people
out
I
to
know,
get an opinion.
Just general announcement.
But
like
you're not putting your whole life out there anymore. Like I think
No.
And that's what I mean by the bell curve. As we've hit that peak of everything going on there, we've slowly started to be like, oh, okay, well, I don't need to air my dirty laundry. But in a weird way, it's not that we've stopped posting photos of ourselves or what we're doing. I think it's
if anything,
just become
that
has peaked.
Volume has gone up in terms of how much people are posting.
That being said, it's a lot more, I don't quite want to say dishonest, but more of like,
you say curated.
It's curated, and you're painting a picture of how you want to be perceived. And I think if you talk to anyone who has any sort of like clout on social media, that delicious dinner I had, some friends with more money were having dinner and I took a photo with it. Oh yeah, I went to like Greece one fucking time in the last 3 years. I took 1 million photos, and every once in a while when it gets warm, I'll post it. Like, you are showing to the world what you want them to see of you, and it is less that oversharing, verbal diarrhea that you're putting out. And like you said, curated. It's more of that. This is what I want the world to see. And though we're going up as far as output, I think we're going considerably down as far as the genuine you that you were putting when you felt safe doing so, hiding behind a screen name.
Yeah. Like you're saying, there's like, it's almost like two ships passing in the night of like, you used to be anonymous but honest, and now you're known but fabricated.
Oh, fucking A. The other day, Laura was selling a chair she refurbished on Marketplace, and someone's like, oh, it looks like you're 3 blocks away. I'll pick it up tomorrow. And she's like, how the fuck did they know it's 3 blocks away? And it kind of shows a general area of where you are in Marketplace without putting it. Like we're literally at a point now where, whether it be via Instagram or even I remember when Snapchat started doing this. I don't think many people are using Snapchat anymore.
I think the youth still are, actually.
But, with those apps, you can see your general locations. Like, what? I didn't consent to this. I mean, you did by signing.
And that's the other part of the bell curve that people are, I think, trying. At first, it was like you really cared about your privacy. You didn't share anything online in terms of like to who you are.
Exactly.
So, like we talked about. And then that went away. And then you were sharing everything.
Tagging your location. I remember Foursquare was the first big one to do it.
Yeah, it was literally just tagging places you went to.
Yeah, and you get more stars if you went there more. Like, and that's so weird to think of right now because, like, in your Instagram photos, your Facebook photos, it'll GPS and tag where you are.
Yeah.
Before there was an app that just did that, and it's like, oh, it looks like Josh has been to the pie hole 5 times. You get a token or a badge for that, and if you go 10 times, you're the king of the pie. Like
king of the pie hole. That was you for sure. Hey.
Oh yeah, if you know what I mean. I ate a lot of pies alone.
Yeah. No one wanted to go with you.
No one wanted.
Frankly, it was disgusting watching you eat them.
No, I'd down like 5 of those, and I wouldn't chew. I'd just like mash up slightly and swallow.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about this, I think, on a Fun Styles, how you eat pie. So if you're interested, you got to pay for our Patreon. Sorry.
Yeah.
Exclusive content.
It's exclusive content you got to check out.
You could hear Josh's pie hole story.
Yeah.
No, but so like, and then now I think people are thinking about privacy again. Now, it kind of, maybe it's too late. Pandora's box might be open, but people are at least trying to edge that bell curve down in regards to privacy. I think the authenticity, which is something we talked about, and that's sort of
Somebody YouTube, yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say it's kind of like an internal September as well, in terms of like when something is small and niche and closely knit, it's very authentic, and then as it blows up and it has an influx of new users, and that September never ends, it kind of becomes less authentic.
Yeah, nice. You said because it never wake me up when September ends. It's never ending, baby.
It doesn't end.
And that's
Sorry,
the thing is like the Pandora's
guy.
box is open, like you said, and if you can't close it, you might as well put on a face you want people to see. Like if someone's gonna see my whole life, might as well show the good bits.
Yeah,
That's
true.
I wouldn't necessarily I'd like to say that my Instagram isn't like that, but all my poster stuff I think are funny or events I went to that I think are chill. Which is still very curated compared to it's like, oh, here's bad photos of me someone took at, a party or a get-together, and that's part of my library,
Though I think both of us are not really people who delete stuff.
No, I have nothing deleted. Everything's up there. All my old embarrassing YouTube videos, all my old embarrassing tags, Facebook photos of me with a little frizzy Jufro and braces. It's all there. Here's the secret.
Our videos are unlisted, and I know Angus, I think, put a lot of them to unlisted because he has a music career and he felt like it would conflict with his brand. But I'd be down to put them up.
But that's the thing is like I think a lot of people do that. It's like, okay, I'll private or take this stuff down, so I'm only really showing the best, and it is still you out there. It's your name, it's your location, but it's a different thing. And I think for me, what I would consider my personal peak of social media, not like I was big on there, I just mean my peak of using it for the intended purpose of being social, that being on like when Facebook, and even this is like pre-Instagram, definitely pre-Instagram being big, is Facebook and YouTube. I think what I was doing was very much trying to communicate with people and trying to be honest. I got catfished once, I'll be honest. Oh, my webcam doesn't work, but jerk off for me. And I was like, okay, I'm 17. I'm horny.
Oh no.
But
Are you okay?
No. After I realized I was catfished, I was quite scared.
And you know what?
What?
It was freaking Cruella Deville.
It was Cruella Deville again, Still pretty pissed about that Mr. Marshy shit.
Yeah, well, it was the long con. He was trying to get back at you.
Yeah, I was like, just as I nutted, the camera did come on, and it was an old gray woman.
Yeah.
Here's something weird that, like, I do want to get into a little bit.
Okay.
In the movie 101 Dalmatians,
Cruella
Deville is supposed to be like a schoolmate of the poor girl who's in her late 20s.
Right.
But Cruella Deville is like a 70-year-old woman.
I think the reasoning is, like, if you're an evil person, you age and you look like shit. Busted people are bad is the moral of that movie.
Yeah. If you're the meaner you are, the older and uglier you get.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of the moral again. Wow, we've really plowed through this topic in terms of time. I did not expect to talk for almost an hour so far, and there's still a couple more things I wanted to talk about.
We're really into the internet and Cruella Deville.
Yeah, I'd say probably 50% of this is really just Cruella Deville.
Yeah, so if you want to tune in next week, it'll be an all Cruella Deville podcast.
We're switching it up, actually, because I'm realizing we're running out of shit to talk about, so we're just going to talk about Cruella Deville now. Thanks for joining us on this journey of the internet. I think we explained it all. Yeah. I think we explained it
podcast
succinctly.
Over. Next week is Adam Johnson, but we're canceling that. So
yeah, sorry, Adam.
So it'd be really cool to have YMS on the pod. It was so cool that he accepted, but no, I guess I don't know. Maybe he'll. You know what? He might want to talk about Cruella Deville.
Yeah, he can come on and I don't know. I just feel like I don't want him to talk too much about it because I have a lot to say.
You have a lot to say about Cruella.
Yeah, like Umbrella, Cruella, right at the top.
Was that one of the big things you wanted to talk about?
No, that's just a small thing. So imagine the big things I have to say.
I guess so. Yeah. Are you proud of yourself, like that you said Umbrella Cruella like that?
Yeah. Aren't you proud of me?
Yeah. Don't worry. Like I said, I'm gonna love you no matter what.
Okay. Wow. So addiction, huh?
No, but I mean, we briefly did talk about it with like, I don't have my phone, but like, I don't know. I would even consider myself someone who isn't that addicted to the internet, or I guess as the internet has kind of become in its biggest form.
I feel like that's a lie right there.
Okay, that's
Maybe
a lie.
that's-
I guess I mean I'm relatively unaddicted to my phone, you know?
Yeah, phone maybe, but I think you're definitely on the
I'm
internet.
super addicted to the internet.
Yeah.
But I think one of its biggest forms now being the cell phone is like I'm someone like if I'm hanging with someone, I don't need to be on my phone that much.
Yeah.
But when I get onto my YouTubes, don't try to talk to me.
You say, Laura, why don't you go get a book or something?
Get a snack or eat a book or whatever.
Get a book and eat some kale because I'm going to be gone for a while.
Yeah, I'm on that goddamn Ray William Johnson Throwback Thursday hole.
Yeah, you're surfing the web with good old Ray as your co-pilot.
Yeah, absolutely. Equals 3? Yeah.
Equals me.
Nice, dude. Absolutely. But yeah.
We're so in sync today.
I think, you could give me every book in the world. I don't know how to read, so I guess I can make a hat or whatever. But like
a fort, maybe.
I could make a fort, but I don't know. It is one of those things where like, yeah, we as a society are very addicted to the internet. I'm too bored to take a shit. Most people are too bored to take a shit without the internet. Think about that.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's contributed to hemorrhoids 100% because you're sitting on the toilet longer.
Yeah.
But that's like we're bored doing everything. The second boredom strikes us, search something on the internet. And I mean, that's something I'd like to avoid. I mean, maybe not completely because I guess this is my job now. But I would like to be able to like have a boring moment and then maybe just like be like, okay, I'm going to take this and do something creative. Like, I mean, me and Thomas, we have time we take to be creative. I'm not saying I'm not being creative. I just mean if I'm alone, I have nothing to do and I'm bored, yeah, I'm going to go on my phone. But I guess I could like just be like, okay, maybe I'll learn to do a handstand.
Yeah, that's the thing is I feel like it's so easy just to like sites like Reddit or whatever. It's just like junk food, Like you're consuming a bunch of nonsense, but it's nothing really
it's not nourishing you. It's
not nourishing you.
It's empty calories.
Exactly. Obviously you can use your phone and the internet for things that are valuable. I know as a person inflicted with ADHD, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm mentally ill.
Yes.
How about that? The cell phone is like addiction is huge for me. Like I can't any moment like my brain tries to divert its attention to something, it's going for the phone. And because it's like a big flashy light of a bunch of random bullshit, it's so easy to like just captivate me.
You're like a bird that sees something shiny.
I am.
I don't want to shit on you.
bird.
You can cut this out. But Thomas doesn't do this as much anymore. But when we first met in film school, like he would constantly be drawing on his phone or doing something like that. The funny thing is he was very alert while doing it. But I think that's almost the apex of phone social media addiction is like you can still keep a conversation, but you are on your phone.
Kind of. I mean, yeah, I definitely know having a conversation or something like that when you're for me the drawing was different. Like I was doing tags because I was so cool.
Yeah.
And they were sort of like they don't take thought. They're just like a muscle memory sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I can be doing those and be actively listening, which is a funny thing. Yeah, I remember one of the teachers saying that to me where she was like, you're just the type of learner who needs to be doing something to learn. And I was like, cool. Or like Oliver would say like, yeah, it looked like you weren't listening at all. And then they'd ask a question and I'd be like, oh, it's this. And then it'd be right because I'm so fucking smart.
It would almost be like a magic trick. Like you'd be saying something and it's like, oh, old Tom's on his phone. Hey, Thomas, what were we just talking about? And he'd recite it. Like, it's definitely a skill. But I think there's a lot of people that, dead air. Phone
I can't remember who it was. Some internet person. I feel like it was Jeff Ramsey or someone. Someone was talking about how it would be like, or maybe it was Bernie. So I think it was a Rooster Teeth guy was saying like, you're talking to your kid or whatever, Oh no, you know what? It was fucking Louis C.K. It wasn't even an internet guy
We
at all.
can't talk
And
about him anymore.
I can't talk about him, so let's just stop that right there.
Yeah.
Anyway. No, but so it's interesting with the addiction of social media. It's designed that way, and then in tandem with that, I feel like they have so much control over what people think.
Yeah.
Like, because I would say I'm addicted to my phone, and like I guess I'm addicted to social media because I scroll on it a lot, and I'm sure it influences my thought, but I'm not like actively. I don't feel like I'm actively consuming it and engaging with it as much as some other people might be. And when they have so much power over what you see and you consume, they can really shape what your opinions are, and that's kind of scary.
I think, you know, something like forums and message boards, keeping the attention have definitely created the birth, or at least the spread of like incel culture.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing
theorists.
with echo chambers.
Yeah.
Is sort of what I'm talking about as well. And it's the whole thing with the internet is it's a tool, and it can be used for good or evil
Or dumb.
That's mostly what it's used for. Yeah,
I think it's like, even if you look at like a hammer as a tool, you know, the good can be, okay, I'm actually driving a nail, I'm creating a little shed so I can put all my hats in there. The bad of using a hammer, or the evil, is
you're driving a nail into someone's skull.
Exactly, you know? Okay, you're using it for evil. And the dumb is just like you're putting it on a stack of papers to keep the papers from flying away. Like, buy a paperweight. And
that's just a rock.
That's what I mean. But it's like doing that and also being like, oh, how the hell am I going to build this shed for my hats? You have the hammer, dummy. And those are the three ways I think people use the internet: evil, dumb, and good.
Yeah, in that order.
Most of it is evil and dumb, and there's a little bit of good.
Yeah. Like Hank Green.
Yeah, Hank Green, I guess. He's a good guy.
He's like pretty much the only guy I can think of who's purely good.
No, I would also add on to that Michael Buckley. He was a real sweet boy.
I was just kidding. Like, you notice how I didn't say John, his brother?
Yeah.
This is a joke.
Well, that's the thing that a lot of people don't know, and I'm going to fill you in on this. So Hank Green is a very good guy, you know, one of the most wholesome people you meet. And John Green is a garbage piece of shit.
Okay.
What he will do is he will go around and he will I'm like hire like illegal immigrants who aren't able to get a visa. You know, they've come here from a war-torn country and just need sanctioned. And he'll be like, oh, I have a work job for you to do. And then what he'll do is he'll be like, he'll say, I'll pay you for the whole entire day.
Stop.
And then he'll make them watch him as he tries on a series of dresses. And they're just kind of confused. Like, why are you, like, what, like, this isn't technically, like, I'm not, like, you aren't doing anything wrong.
You're burning a bridge right now.
It's so weird that you're doing this. He's just like,
I can't believe you're
purple dresses, green dresses, gray dresses, white wedding dresses, the whole gambit. And at the end of
we're not going to be able to get him now.
You shush up. And I'm telling the people what they need to hear. And then
this is insane.
At the end of the day, like, he'll give them an envelope filled with cash. You know, they're like, okay, this was a weird day. It's weird that I had to watch a grown man try on a myriad of dresses. I'm going to go back to my family. And they open up the envelope and it's full of Monopoly money. And it's just like a weird slander. It's like a weird coy like thing that he did. And I guess cuz you know they're not legally allowed to work in the country, you know, they can't sue him. But it's like, what a waste of a day that I could have been working, you know.
This is crazy.
And it's such like a meek thing to do.
You've just guaranteed we'll never get either of the Green brothers on the show.
Oh, they'll come on and they'll dispute this and say it's bullshit, it's bullshit, it's bullshit. And then they'll come to the point where they have to send us their audio, and Hank will send it. And John will send just, I guess, like the audio of him trying on all these strange dresses. So, yeah, I hate to be the one to say it.
So
yeah.
Pissed at you right now for unleashing that to the world.
Yeah, I think it needed to happen. If we're talking about like the good on the internet and the evil and the dumb, somehow John Green is both evil and dumb.
The Vlog Brothers encapsulate all of that.
All of that. And Hank is just
much like
good.
social media is a microcosm of the internet. John and Hank are a microcosm of the duality of man.
Absolutely.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it needed to get out there is all.
Well, I guess on that horrible note of slanderous libel.
Hey, libel's in print, my friend.
Yeah, I'm going to type it out. I'm going to type out what you said and mail it to him.
Really? That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I was frightened for a second there.
To be honest, Josh.
Yeah.
That was all a bit.
Okay.
Like me being upset about that.
Yeah, you were joking.
I
wasn't doing a bit about that John Green thing. He's a fucking monster.
Dude, I know. I met him. I was there.
Yeah.
He offered me to come.
Watch him try the dresses on.
Because I said I was from Canada, and he was like, "Oh, Canada."
And you're not a citizen, right?
And I was like 13.
How would you like to make a little extra cash?
Yeah, no, it's true, and that's why I was so upset.
Yeah, okay, it's okay.
You're bringing up a lot of trauma.
We can cut all this out so you don't feel uncomfortable.
No, I think you're right. I think the world
needs to know.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for listening. This has kind of been an episode about social media and our journeys through it, our thoughts, opinions, facts.
Yeah.
Nah, none of those.
None of those. Thank you so much for listening. If you wanna help us out, you can find us on TikTok. When we were there.
When we were there show
oh
on
my
TikTok.
God.
When we were there show on Instagram.
We are Friend Styles on Anchor. We are Friend Styles on Patreon. Tune in next goddamn week when we talk about an all Cruella Deville podcast with Adam Johnson, some YMS. And you know what? While we're at it, we might as well talk about the internet.
Yeah, maybe a little at the end, if there's time.
If there's time.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, guys.
We will see you next time.
Bye.
Friendstyles.com on YouTube also, by the way. Friendstyles.com YouTube. Bye.